Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk about my Turok collection. I just got some new Turok comics in the mail, so I figured, I think just about all of the Valiant era Turok comics, plus a bunch of other stuff, some of the original ones, and also some weird stuff. I'll go over some of the weird stuff first. Here we got a Turok chapter book, Way of the Warrior. Let's see, by Michael Teitelbaum. I know that name. He wrote some Sonic the Hedgehog chapter books way back in the early 90s. I remember reading, let's see, the first one, and that was kind of my first big exposure to Sonic. And it kind of burned in my brain a lot of ideas of how Sonic should be. But moving on from Sonic, we're talking about Turok here. On the cover here, we have not Turok. Yeah, this is Josh. He was a character, I think, from Turok 3, the Nintendo 64 game, which I used to have as a kid. I really like that game. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened to it. I have the first Turok game still. I had Rage Wars, but it didn't work right. It was always kind of a glitchy game. Turok 2, I just plain didn't like because I didn't like the unskippable cutscenes. I didn't like how kind of limited the levels were. I don't know, maybe I'll have to go back and replay it at some point. But anyway, this book, I read it a couple years ago, and I've completely forgotten most of it. Apparently, it was the first in like a series. In the back, they have other Turok adventures. Let's see, there were four of them apparently, and then on the last page, there's a preview of like the artwork for the next one, and we have Josh. I'm guessing they're fighting. Is that the Xenomorph from the fourth Alien movie? It kind of looks like it, doesn't it? So anyway, oh, one cool thing. There's a little flip book in the corner that turns the little guy into Turok the Warrior or whatever. Yeah, not a particularly engaging book or memorable book, but it's kind of neat if you're a Turok fan, I guess. It's a curiosity. And this thing has an interesting story. Turok, son of stone, a legend is born. This thing shares the cover of the movie. Yeah, the Turok movie. I'll talk about that in a minute. But first I want to talk about this thing. I happened to see this on eBay. It was just this cover, and the title just said Turok. There was no author credited, but there was a page count, which is weird, because there's no numbers on the pages. So I was really curious what this was, and I didn't have any Turok paperbacks at the time, so I was like, sure, I'll give it a try, I'll chance it, and so I got this, and what it is a photo novel of the movie. They took scenes from the movie, assembled them into panels, added word balloons, and so yeah, there's the movie, or cinemanga, whatever. I did a video talking about all my photo novels, cinemangas, telenovels, whatever. I still don't know what to call these things. And next up, I'll talk about the movie. The movie was freaking amazing. I freaking love the movie. It is really, really cool. If let's see, there was that show Primal that came out a while ago. If you liked that, watch this. You might enjoy yourself. A lot of people didn't like this movie. I was surprised. Uh, like, this was kind of exactly what I wanted, plus it's about Turok, a character I love. This takes a lot of influence from those original comics, the old Gold Key, Del Whitman, 60s, 70s comics. I think it's 60s and 70s for Turok. Let's see, so we have Turok. There's no pictures of Andar anywhere, which is weird, because he's a major character in this. Anyway, they go through a cave and wind up in the Savage World, or Land, or Lost Land. Okay, that's what it's called. And yes, they encounter dinosaurs, there's a bad guy after them, there's some weird stuff. This movie, the one thing it kind of shies away from, unlike a lot of other more modern Turok media, is the sci-fi element. Ever since the Valiant comics, Turok has taken a heavier focus on the sci-fi elements and really brought in a bunch of really crazy stuff. Aliens, cyborg stuff, futuristic weaponry and all that. But this is way more like the original comic. However, it's also extremely violent. Like really violent. There's a little thing on the back. Warning, contains graphic violence and other material not suitable for children. Uh, However, if you cut it down a little bit, took out some of the intensity of this movie, I think it'd be a perfectly acceptable kids movie. But I do like it the way it is. It doesn't shy away from the maturity of the situations and the elements presented in the movie. It's really cool. Definitely recommend this. Moving on to the next thing. Here we got an Acclaim. What's this called? Adventure Zone. I have a couple of the other Acclaim books that were put out like this, the Saban Powerhouse books. These were like these old digest kind of sized graphic novel collections that Acclaim did. Let's see, this one collects Turok, the greatest team there ever was, Megastar, Troublemakers, Old Glory, Ninjak, and the Bad Eggs. And I've only ever heard of Ninjak. On the back, it only shows Ninjak and Troublemakers. I think I know what Old Glory is. I don't know for sure. Anyway, the main character of this is, yeah, look, it's Josh again. Who the frig is Josh? Where did he come from? Like, I think he was either based off the character from Turok 3, or he came from the later Valiant comics or something. I don't know. I haven't read those later comics or played the game in years. So yeah, there's some of the weird stuff. Now on to like the main comics and things. Now right here, this is kind of a cool thing. In the 90s, when Valiant was doing their own Turok comics, they also reprinted some of the original Turok comics. So here's the first issue of their reprinted series. And then also I have the second issue of the reprinted series. Pretty cool, high quality. They didn't make any changes or edits as far as I'm aware. I don't know how many they made. I've only ever found the first two. For years, I only had the second one. It was, like, only very recently I happened across the first one there. Right here, I think this is the oldest Turok comic I have. Let's see, this is, from Dell. Yeah, I think Dell was the first company to put out the Turok comics, so yeah, this is definitely the oldest. June, August, don't know if there's an actual number on this, it's taped shut, I'm not gonna bother opening it. But yeah, it's cool to have these old ones because of the artwork and everything, really nice. And then right here is one from Whitman, one of the other companies that published Turok comics, and yeah, this is the only Whitman Turok comic I have. And then here's one of the Gold Key ones. Let's see, I don't remember where I got this one. Oh, whatever. And right here, this one has some sentimental value to me, because this was... Excuse me. This was the very first original Turok comic that I ever managed to find. Yeah, that is really cool. So, I have a lot of memories of reading this one, and I took very good care of it. Some of my older comics from when I was a kid, they're not in the best of shape, they're kind of worn out, but with Turok, I was very careful with it, because, like, yeah, it's very old, and I really, really liked it. And then here we got another Gold Key one. Probably I got it from a yard sale or a flea market or something. Same with this one. I do remember where I got this one. Oh, and I got it at the same place I got this one, from a flea market. And here's another one. Oh, with these stickers, kind of like one of the other ones had. I must have gotten this at, oh yeah, I remember. I got this at an indoor flea market or antique store, something. There's a bunch of different booths selling their own stuff. And so, yeah, this one booth had a whole bunch of comics, and I found some old Turoks. That was cool. And then this is the last of the original Gold Key Turoks that I have. And from here on out, I got a whole bunch of Valiant comics. First up, here's two Exo Manowar comics that Turok guest starred in. I don't know for sure. I think Turok might have shown up in Exo Manowar before he got his own comic series. I don't know for sure. Maybe not. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've looked at these Valiant comics. Recently, I have been tracking down and finding a lot of my missing Valiant comics. So, you got 1 and 2, 3 and 4. I don't want these to get jumbled up here. And then 5 and 6, 7 and 8. That's a very derpy looking dinosaur, isn't it? see, 9 and 10, 11 and 12, 13 and 14, 15 and 16. Some of these are getting messed up here. There. Okay, and let's see, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Oh, and after a while, they started doing this weird thing where they had like a banner along the end. I don't know what that's all about. Gives it a unique look, I guess. I think some of the other Valiant comics, as they went along, they switched to that style. 23, 24. Well, that's a cool cover. And then we got, let's see, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and let's see, for a while, let's see, 30 was the latest issue I had, so I assumed it was the last one, but it did keep going. Let's see, 31, and then, let's see, 32, 33, huh. Okay, this must have been... Okay, yeah, so this is one that I just got recently, so it's not, like, doubled up to save on space like some of these other ones are. And then we got 34, 35... Oh, and they dropped that banner along the end, for whatever reason. 37... Okay, so yeah, no 36. 38, 39... let's see... 41, 42... Yep, 42. So yeah, no 40, unfortunately. Yep, still missing 40. And then there's this, let's see, Turok Dinosaur Hunter Yearbook. And, let's see, is this my original? Yep, this is my original copy. I can tell from the crease down here, and it's kind of warped because it was, water damaged. I went to a yard sale, and they had a bunch of comics. Some of them had been left out overnight and were kind of water damaged, including this one. But I loved it as a kid, so I didn't mind. I got comics to read them, not to collect them necessarily. So next up, here's a mini-series, Turok the Hunted. This was really, really cool. I remember, let's see, years ago, I can't remember, let's see, what was I doing? I was doing something, and I'd gotten money for something. Maybe it was a temp job or something, but I had some money. I went on eBay, and I happened to find this Turok the Hunted, both issues, really cool. And it was something I'd wanted for a really long time. And it is a really cool story. Definitely recommend it. Okay, next up is Acclaim Comics. So let's see, Acclaim's first Turok comic. I think this is the first issue. It says number 1. Nisiza was on as a writer. That's cool. Interesting thing with this first issue's cover, no Turok on the cover, but there is Bill Clinton. So yeah, Turok's not good enough to make the cover, but Clinton is. And then issue 2 of this one. And then, let's see, oh yeah, issue 3 and 4, and funny thing about 3, we have a bunch of girls with, double the stuff. I remember seeing an ad for this in Wizard magazine, and I thought it was some kind of a mistake, but no, that's really what they went with. Weird. Okay, next up, oh, Spring Break in the Lost Land, and oh, there's that dude again. I'm pretty sure it's this guy, and the one who's this guy. I don't remember, I haven't read this in years. Oh, and this next one has an interesting story. I got this from a Comic-Con. It's one of the only things I got from a Comic-Con, because stuff there was crazy expensive. But there was somebody there with a bunch of old Turok comics, so I'm going through there. I have a list with me of which ones I'm looking for. Mostly it was the really early Valiant stuff. I had most of it. He had a couple of the old ones, but they cost way too much for me. But then there was this weird thing. Turok the Empty Souls by Fabian Nicieza, Raphael Kayanen. Retailer review copy. So, I don't know if this actually came out or not. Like, I'm assuming maybe it did. I don't know. Or is this like crazy rare and I just don't know. I know I did read this, but I don't remember a thing about it. Next up, Turok Time Walker, another mini-series with 2 issues. Yep, 2 of 2. Oh, another Nasiza thing. Cool. Again, I know I read this, and I'm pretty sure I really liked it, but I don't remember anything about it now. This is a cool thing that, let's see, I've had for a while. This is a promotional comic for Turok Evolution. Yeah, the video game. In fact, there's a... Oh, there it is. There's an ad for the strategy guide in the back. I'd like to find that. I used to have the Turok Evolution game for PlayStation 2, and it was okay. I liked the first level. After that, I wasn't that big of a fan. I like games where you can just explore the environment. And the first level had a lot of cool stuff to explore, like when you're walking along and you come to that gigantic, was it Brontosaurus? What are the dinosaurs with the long necks? Whatever those things are, you come to that thing, and that is just really, really cool. The rest of the game's okay. So anyway, this is like a prequel to that or something. Okay, and now, I guess to talk about the archives books I have 2 volumes of the Turok Archives. Here's the first I have, volume 8. Okay. Altogether, there were 9, I think. Anyway, these are really cool. They reprint the old Dell Gold Key Whitman comics. Quality is really nice. In the back, there's a commercial for some other archive collections. Let's see. So where's Turok? Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. When this came out, there was only... Oh, now I lost... Oh, there it is. When this came out, this was the most recent volume. So there's the list of 8 of them. Then I have one down there that says 9. Let's see. Oh, there was a collection of the Boris Karloff Tales of Mystery. Neat. So this was really cool to find. I happened to find this discounted, and unfortunately, this is the only one I think that ever shows up discounted. This one, let's see, is volume 5, and I got this really cheap because it's from a library, so it's kind of beat up. The library didn't take very good care of... Oh, there it is. Middlefield Library. Wherever that is, you didn't do a very good job taking care of this book. But, just as well, it meant that I could buy it cheap. Some pages are falling out a little bit in the back here. Let's see. Oh, where is it? Well, I know somewhere I saw a list of Turok Archive books and it said 9. Maybe it's in one of the paperbacks. Oh, whatever. Same thing as the other one. Reprints the old comics. And one of the neat things, the other one, the pages, they were like kind of rough. Like they're kind of like the pages that you'd find in those black and white Essentials books. Whereas this, all the pages are shiny, glossy, smooth. The colors are a lot brighter in this one. So that's cool. However, the old one, I kind of like how the colors look in the old one. It looks more like the original comics or something. I don't know what I'm talking about. So here's Turok, Son of Stone by Jim Shooter, Eduardo Francisco, James Herron. Ozzelplane, whatever that says. I'm sure that's like a real word or something, and I'm mispronouncing. I don't know how to pronounce it. So, I haven't read all of this yet, but it looks pretty cool. Let's see, it looks like it's a little bit back to the basics, but then also there's some time travel and fantasy nonsense in there. Oh, okay, so it is in here, where is it? There it is. Turok Archives, 9 volumes, $49.99 each. A little outside my price range for a standard book, but whatever. Okay, next up is these things, the Dynamite Turok series. I happen to find this one, let's see, volume 1, a couple years ago from a discount bookseller, Edward R. Hamilton. Sometimes we get catalogs in the mail from them. And so I bought this, and I enjoyed myself. This was pretty cool. Again, it's a completely different take on Turok. Whenever there's a new company that takes over, Turok is just completely reimagined for whatever reason. No one can just let him stay a guy and his kid friend. I don't. It changes how Andar is related to him. Sometimes he's like a son or a nephew, or he's like just some kid who happened to be with him. Moving on to the other ones. A while ago, I decided, you know what, I'm going to look up on eBay, see if there was any more Turok trade paperbacks, and I found these. But unfortunately, they were crazy expensive, like 20 some bucks each, and I didn't even know if I would like these, but they both popped up on, like, up for bid for only like $6 each, so I was like, sure. And I won the bid, so cool. I have more of this series I didn't even know existed. So that's, yep, that's all the Turok stuff. I have a couple of the games elsewhere. I can talk a little bit about the games and my experience with them. The first Turok video game I played was the third one, Turok 3, which is actually, I think, the fourth one if you count Rage Wars. Let's see. So we went to the video store, and they were selling some N64 games, and I saw Turok 3, and it was the only game there that wasn't a sports game. So I was like, oh, cool, I definitely want to get this one. At the time, I didn't really have all that many Nintendo 64 games. I had GoldenEye, South Park, the first-person shooter South Park game. Let's see, I think I had Glover, one of the Mario parties, which I wasn't a big fan of. I'm just not a big fan of Mario Party. So having Turok 3 was really cool, because I really like first-person shooter games, and this game had just so much weird, crazy stuff in it, and I was a little bit familiar with Turok already. Let's see. There was a dollar store that would have all these old comics for $1 occasionally, and that was where I found some of the old Valiant Turok comics, and then there was the original comics. There was a comic book store, Fat Cat Comics, and they had a box of old antique comics. That's where I got some of the original Turoks. I'd pick one out, and my grandparents would buy it for Christmas or my birthday or something. So, Turok 3, loved it. Then I got kind of stuck in the middle of it, and I didn't know how to get farther in the game. So I'm like, what do I do? I'm sitting there trying everything I can think of, and then we went to the store one day, and this was back when they still had video game cheat code magazines. Yeah, the whole magazine was mostly cheat codes. Sometimes there was like previews or strategy guides in there, or activities, but mostly it was just a list of cheat codes. And they had a big section on Nintendo 64 games. So I bought that, and oh look, there's Turok 3 cheat codes. So I tried that, got past the level, beat the game, and the credits tell me that I cheated. Okay, well, sorry, I was having trouble with the level. Anyway, later, I found the first Turok game. I really loved it. Didn't care for the controls. I like the controls on the Nintendo 64 when it comes to first-person shooters, when you're just using the joystick and the triggers on the back. It's perfect. It's so perfect for it. But then that one was like, nah, you gotta use the D-pad or the yellow buttons. Ugh. But it was a fun game. I especially like playing the first couple of levels. Those are really fun. The final couple levels are also really fun. And that game doesn't yell at you for using cheat codes. And then I found Turok 2 at a video store, and I didn't care for that game. I remember some of it being okay, but then the cutscenes, you couldn't skip the cutscenes. And Adon, this weird alien woman or whatever, would every single level tell you to protect the energy totems at all costs. And I got so sick of hearing that, and it's burned into my brain now. So I don't know, maybe the game is actually good, and like my memory of it is just like just making it seem worse, but I don't know. Anyway, then oh yeah, Rage Wars. I found Rage Wars, I don't remember where, but it was a really crappy cartridge. It had been like snapped open and glued shut again. So it was like it was really buggy and glitchy. I don't know what was going on with it. That might have been why it was opened up in the first place. Someone opened it up to see if like they could figure out what was wrong with it or something. So it was kind of hard to get it to start up. I would plug it in, take it out, blow in it, put it back in again, wipe it down with alcohol, dry off the alcohol, wait for it to dry out, put it back in, try again. And then it would work, then it would like be playing for a while, then it would freeze or some other weird glitch would happen, and Rage Wars, from what I remember, there wasn't really a story or a single-player mode in the game. It was kind of just, you set up, like, a free-for-all combat battle or something. Like, I'm sure it was an okay game, it's just I could never really play much of it because my particular copy was defective or something. Then there were Game Boy Turok games. Let's see, there was a Turok 2 and 3 on Game Boy Color, I think, and then there was Turok Evolution on Game Boy Advance. I played Turok 3 on the Game Boy, the Color, I think. I don't remember for sure. It might have been Turok 2, I don't know for sure. From what I remember, I think it was a top-down view, and so you're walking along, dinosaurs and bad guys are coming at you, you shoot arrows at them, or you had a knife, you could go up in close range, attack the bad guys. I don't remember too clearly about the game. I also didn't really keep it for that long, because there was a video game store I think I sold it to really quick because I got sick of it. Turok Evolution I had for a while, because I did like that game, but it was really hard. I remember the beginning, let's see, you're running along and there's bad guys crawling up out of the ground or something to attack you. I don't remember for sure what was going on in that game, but I seem to remember, like, I'd be running along and then a bunch of bad guys would just crawl up out of the ground and gang up on you. And, let's see, you had a gun, but the ammo was limited. Then you had a knife for close range, I think. I don't know. I can't remember much, because, again, I don't have the game anymore. Although I did have it for quite a while. That one I think I gave to a friend or something, and they just never gave it back. So yeah, bunch of Turok stuff. I love Turok. One of my favorite comics. I'm always happy to find when it comes back. That's always a cool thing, and I'll try to track down some of the comics. I don't know if there's actually a Turok comic coming out now. Or video games. I haven't really kept up with Turok video games. I do remember at a yard sale or something I found the Xbox 360 Turok game, but I don't have an Xbox 360, so I couldn't play it, so, yeah, Turok stuff, freaking love it. That's it for this one, hope you enjoyed it, see ya.